How we doing, everybody? It's deadline day, and I'm here with the boys. We're just gonna get cranking, start talking about deals because stuff is people are flying off the shelves at this point. Like it's ridiculous. It's just constant news. Like there's no stopping it. This deadline's on crack. But how we doing, boys? How we feeling about this deadline?
I'm glad Soto's out of the way, and now the market's
Yes.
it's finally moving. We're gonna get some good deals. It's gonna be fun.
I feel nothing because I'm a Pirates fan, so I don't really count for this. So
hey, you guys traded away one guy. Actually two guys. A minor leaguer
for Quintana, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. But
I don't know if Quintana's still a thank you. Like,
I mean, with what the Cardinals have right now, and
all right, that's fair.
Yeah.
There have been. I'm as a Yankee fan. I'm wearing my Blue Claws hat because I work for the Blue Claws, and some of my guys are gonna get traded today. It's inevitable.
Right.
But I'm a Yankees fan. Everybody knows that. And the fact that we're shopping Gleyber Torres for what, dog? Unless we're calling up Peraza, I don't like what.
Yeah.
Even with that,
yeah, I know. Like I'd rather.
IKF.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, that's disgusting. It's disgusting. What would we even get for Gleyber? Like, who's on the market that we could possibly want for Gleyber Torres right now?
I don't know at this point.
Like, it's too late for that.
Yeah.
All right. We got to sum up some of the big deals before all of this starts going down here. It is 4, so they got 2 hours to the deadline. So let's get everybody's take on the big one because we might as well get the big fish out of the way. How do we feel about the Soto trade? Yeah.
The problem with anything like this, when you're talking about Soto, whatever you give up for him is not going to be enough realistically if you're the Nationals. You're going to probably lose this trade to some degree, right? The guys they got a lot of really good players, guys that have potential. Obviously, as some of their top prospects in the organization right now, and some guys who've been at the major league level for a little bit. But what are the odds any of them are going to be 60% of Soto? Maybe collectively, if they all turn out well, it'll boost their team up enough to get them in a good position to compete in a year or two. But that's not even very likely either, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, Mackenzie Gore is really good.
Yeah, he's
right.
A great
we all know
yeah.
Mackenzie Gore is very good.
Right.
He's hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they don't care about this year anyway, but still,
And then CJ Abrams is really good. He's a great defensive guy. He's probably if CJ Abrams stayed on that team, he was probably going to be the shortstop, and Soto was going to go to Tatis was going to go to the outfield.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, Tatis is already on track to be a worse defensive outfielder than Derek Jeter, which is saying something. Even as a Yankee fan, I know he was bad. All right.
Yeah.
Can we get that out of the way?
The defense was never really going to be I think he has the talent to be a good defender. He just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to.
Too busy tripping over soccer balls and falling off motorcycles. But yeah, CJ Abrams was going to be the starting shortstop for that team probably next year.
Yeah.
And Tatis was going to be in the outfield, if we're honest.
Mm-hmm.
And so you gave up those two guys who were definitely going to be pieces that you used. And then Wood, I like Wood a lot, but he's but he's a 2025 guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, I think ideally with the Padres, obviously this is going to make them much better right this second, right? And probably for a year or two. But I just don't know how much is it going to move the needle enough to actually get them a series win this year or next. I don't know about that at this point. Dodgers are still there. At least the Dodgers didn't get him, I guess. At least there's that. That would have made me upset just because, what are we doing at that point? But I don't know how much this actually means for them the rest of this year or even the year after.
I think, anytime you bring in a guy like Soto, obviously, you're helping your chances. And there are still, you can make the argument that there's some holes in that lineup that, aren't particularly appealing, especially when you're going up against a Dodgers team that's loaded. But it's just the opportunity to have Soto for 3 playoffs, and then like you could wait 3 years and then extend him, or 2.5, whatever, and then reassess and go all in with him, in these next few years. But I want to go back to the Wood point with Washington, is again, like they don't care about 2022. Obviously, they don't care about 2023. 2024 is probably a wash too. So with these 2025, ETA guys, I'm cool with that. And I think ultimately Washington got themselves a good package. Like Shane said, it was never going to be enough. It's Juan Soto. Yeah. But kicking the can down the road, if you will, on these guys that have a lot of upside but aren't going to be in the majors for a long time, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I feel like the Padres, from their perspective, they win this trade in one of two ways. Either they win a World Series in the next 3 playoffs, or they keep Soto. It's one of those are the 2 ways they can win this trade, really. And I mean, he definitely moves the needle towards winning in the near future. I don't know if they're going to be able to extend him long term, just because they're not a big market club and they've already got so much money tied up in other places. So I really feel like if this trade works for them, they have to win right now. And then the Nationals, I don't know. I don't like a bunch of prospects. I think that's a crapshoot, especially the ones that they got. I feel like they're all, especially like a lot of the lower prospects that they got, the ones that are like still in AA and single A. Those are all guys that are pretty boom or bust. The guys that they got. I mean, so unless Gore and Abrams turn out to be really good, you're really hoping one of those other pieces turns out to be something great. Otherwise, you gave up Soto for not much. So I don't know. It just doesn't look great either way.
For the point, like, all right, so I'm a big Mackenzie Gore guy because I think he's going to be an ace for however long, especially, on the Nationals, in 2 years, there's not going to be competition with him for starting role number 1, if we're honest. And then you look at the Padres side of things, and yeah, you have to compete in the next 3 years, and you get Hader and all that stuff. Like you're obviously trying to, but like you're gonna have to get rid of Machado if you want to keep Soto, and you'd obviously rather have Soto than Machado.
Yeah,
just because of money, like strictly because of money. And I'm not saying like next year Machado's gone. I'm saying in probably 2, right before they have to re-sign Soto. But even if you like use Soto for 2 years, win a World Series, trade him at the trade deadline right before he becomes a free agent, you're not going to get the same return back. Because then it's a 25-year-old Soto with a half year of control, and you're not going to get Gore, Abrams, Wood, Hassel, and then like you're not going to get that package back. And I think the Voit thing is so weird, because why would you even ask about Hosmer if you just are going to get rid of him and Voit anyways?
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
It was just pointless. And I love Luke Voit. Like, I'm a Yankees fan, obviously. I love you, Luke Voit. But that was just stupid. Like, just give them Voit then and keep Hosmer because he can play half decent defense for you, and you can let him and Bell switch out.
Yeah.
I do think Josh Bell is a very underrated part of this trade.
Yeah, getting Bell, I wanted to mention that is coming from a Pirates fan, obviously. Like getting him on a year where he's hitting over 300 and is actually having a really good season with the bat, that is going to help them a lot too, because especially if you are going to get rid of Voit like you did, now you have somebody who can play first base, but ideally he's a DH, obviously. But that's going to be a help for the lineup too, and not just getting Soto. So they are getting better on top of the Soto deal as well. So it's not just him, which does make it a little bit better, I think, for them.
Yeah, I really like, I don't know. I feel like you're not going to win when you trade away a superstar, no matter what. Like if you're trading away at that echelon, you're not going to win. Like look at the Mookie Betts deal. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's
you're not going to win. There's no good way to do that deal unless you're getting 3 guys who are going to compete right now for you. But and you're in a spot where you're in the middle and you make the playoffs and you go on a little bit of a run, but like you're not doing that. That's not what you're doing as the Nationals.
No.
So, yeah, I guess they just traded for Soto to try and win, but if you don't win, this is a pointless trade and you just depleted your farm for nothing.
That's kind of what it comes down to for me, though, is like if they win a World Series while he's on the roster, then nothing else matters at that point. As far as even if the players that gave up all work out, they're all high-level starters, guys that are playing every day. That's great for the Nationals then, good for them for getting a haul then. But if you win a title with him, even if you don't keep him, that's what it ultimately means at the end of it. You're trying to win a title. And if you can do that, nothing else really matters at that point.
All right, let's move on because we could talk about this Soto deal all day.
Yeah, I could take all day. Yeah.
All right. Do we want to talk about Castillo real quick? Because what? All right. Like we were just talking about how like a group of prospects for a star, like a star, isn't always great, but for 1.5 years of Castillo, that trade's ridiculous.
I kind of disagree. And
really?
You just graduated high school, right?
Yeah.
I'm about to be in my senior year of college. Neither of us have been alive for a Seattle Mariners playoff run.
That's fair enough.
It means different things for different teams. And obviously they're not just going to try and make the playoffs and get bounced. And I think, there's enough talent there that they could build a fairly sustainable winning team. But like, if not now, when? Julio Rodriguez is a budding star. They have the payroll situation's good. The surrounding talent's pretty good. And adding a guy like Castillo obviously only adds to that, where, make the playoffs for once. If you go on a run, great. If you don't, you could run it back next year. And then if you extend him, you extend him. If you let him go, fine. It's a steep price. I think Cincinnati definitely, got probably more than most of us were expecting for Castillo. And good for them because they need it, because they need to trade them in 7 years to other good teams.
Right, yeah.
But it's just, they haven't made the playoffs in so long. It's just, it feels for like a franchise defining move almost. It's just, this had to get done, and they did what they had to do to push it across.
That's fair. That's fair.
The thing with the Mariners are they can't keep these guys that they trade for. Like, do we really think Castillo's going to re-sign with them? That's my thing. And you just gave up a lot for a guy that does help you make the playoffs, but he's not going to make them a serious contender in the next 2 years. I mean, do we really think the Mariners are going to be a real threat to win a World Series in the next 2 years?
I mean, once you get in, anything's possible.
Anything can happen, yeah.
That's the thing, and I think that you made the point, Anthony. Like, if you're the Mariners, right, you just want to play baseball in October, right? Like, this is that's your only goal at this point as a franchise, because you eventually have to get that monkey off your back to move forward as a franchise. This does help them do that, and yeah, I don't know if they're going to be an actual contender in the next 2 years, but it's possible. And again, we've seen teams get in the dance and make it happen. Like, I'm going to always go for a guy that if I can get someone who's established as a player, especially in baseball where prospects, you just never know, right? We really don't know for sure. Obviously, there's some guys that are like, yeah, I can already tell he's going to be great. But for the most part, especially if you're kind of a middling prospect or a guy that's not really getting a lot of hype, there's no guarantee that you're going to end up helping that team make the playoffs eventually. So go get the guy that will help you do that and then try to figure out the rest as you go.
Also, a quick note on Castillo. I don't remember, someone wrote about it, and I'm forgetting the name, but his fastball is getting better than it's really ever been at this point. Obviously, he came up as this sinker changeup guy, but now the fastball is getting more work, where like he might be even better than what they're already trading for. And so I think even if it doesn't come to fruition this year, if he's continuing to develop, and I say that as if he's a prospect, obviously he's 29, but hey, if he's even better next year, great.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that makes you feel better about this trade, and this is going to sound horrible, but it's the Reds. Like, these guys, even if they're generational, like Marte turns out to be a generational talent, he's not going to be there for more than 6 years. Like,
Yeah.
But I guess because the Reds get 3 of the M's top 5 prospects and then 3 of the Twins' top 14 prospects, and they have Cam Collier.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're gonna be dangerous in a few years if every single one of those guys pans out. Like that'd be 7 really good players.
Right.
You listed off a lot of future Mets.
Yeah, basically, lots of future Mets, Yankees, Dodgers. Like it's the Reds. Like this is the only reason you feel good about doing this. That's my take. And then I want to talk about Frankie Montas, but we can talk about other deals first. We can talk about Scott Efros. We can talk about that deal. Which great deal in my opinion. I just want to say,
really like that.
Yeah, like I haven't met Hayden Wieneski. He's a really good dude. Taught me how to throw a knuckleball differently. He doesn't even throw a knuckleball, but he's like, let me show you how I do it. And I was like, all right, bro. Like I was just talking to him by the bullpen. He's an awesome guy. He's going to be blocked up in the Yankees farm, and Yankees pitching prospects never actually pitch for the Yankees. Like if we're honest, who was the last one? Like Sevy.
I think I was gonna say that was who I thought immediately. Yeah.
Yeah, Sevy. I guess like that's about it. So like he was never gonna pitch here, if we're honest. And getting a top flight, like Efros has a better F4 right now than Holmes. So like I'll take that all day.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm good. That was all I had to say.
Yeah, I really did like that deal for the Yankees. And obviously, like buying relievers, it's typically better business to sell relievers than to buy relievers.
Yeah.
But at least just for this year, the return wasn't egregious. He offers you a different arm angle than most guys you're going to see. So like, in the playoffs, it's just another added benefit. Matt Blake is going to have his way with him, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm forgetting the last point I want to. Oh, and he's an innings eater. That's why he has more WAR than Holmes. Like the dude can eat innings. It doesn't really matter what inning you pitch him in. And I think it's just a total an amalgamation of a lot of small benefits that's really going to pay off more than a guy that might be the third starter on the Cubs in a year or two.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, right, because of Matt Blake, this trade looks even better, and you're probably getting rid of Lucky here to the Dodgers. So that arm angle does come into play a little bit more instead of just having guys throwing 90-mile-per-hour heaters, 99-mile-per-hour heaters down, down Broadway all day. You have a guy who can slow it down, throw from a different arm angle. And right now you need him in high leverage innings. But if Lowe comes back to form, which it looks like he is, and Chapman has had like 7 pretty good innings, or 5 pretty good innings lately, like if those guys come back to form and they're able to go 7, 8, and then Holmes 9, you can use Efros wherever you want. And it becomes an even better trade down the stretch. Like right now, this is a necessity thing where he's going to be pitching the 8th because King went down. But down the line in the playoffs, he can pitch, 6, 7, 8, or any of those, anywhere you need him. So I think it's a very good deal for the Yankees.
He's also under team control, I think, right? He's a rookie.
He's a rookie. You have 5 years of team control.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, another win.
Yeah, that's a nice little added bonus. Like he might not be on the team for 7 years. We might trade him because he is 28, but it's a nice little added bonus that you can keep him for 5 years if he is really good. You won't have to pay him Britain money anytime soon. Which don't get me started on Britain. This is not the time for me to talk about Zach Britton. Do we want to move on to the next Yankee trade? Frankie Montas? I'm just going down the list. I can't even think of every trade right now, and I don't. Has anything happened recently that we missed?
I'm trying to check. I haven't seen anything.
There's
but
the Carlos Rodon talks.
You're right.
Yeah,
and Torres is being talked about. Yeah.
Yeah. So Glaber and Rodon are all of a sudden Glaber's like a piece that could get moved. But the Yankees added Frankie Montas, which is sick. Apparently, Sevy's pissed off that he got moved to the 60-day because he thought he could be back in 2 weeks. But now he's not going to be there till December, which they're September. But they're playing it safe with him because he gets injured back to back to back every time he gets injured. Yeah. So I get it. But that's another deal that I like. I hate pitching prospects unless you've proven to me that you can throw in the MLB. I don't really want you. So like I'm okay giving up all the Chuck Manaea and like all those guys. Like I would much rather have 3 top tier shortstops and 3 top tier left-handed pitchers sitting in my farm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
there's a quote and it's like there's no such thing as a pitching prospect. It's just there's so much variance year to year. There's so much injury risk. It can be super hard to project these guys. I think you're right. From a prospect standpoint, I'd rather develop my hitters and sign and trade my pitchers or 4 pitchers.
Yeah, that's what's worked for the Yankees for a long time, and I think I'm glad to see them try to add to this team as much as they can, despite how it's gone for them so far this year, because it should help make their push in the playoffs much more successful than it's been lately. Just having more depth in the pitching, especially. And Severino being out till probably September, he said, Luke, like that's, whatever. But as long as he's good to go for once the playoffs start, I think it won't be too big of a deal.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have all of September to get him back to form.
Right.
And like, I'm not even a big Trey Sweeney guy. I've watched Trey Sweeney play in person. Like he's good. He's not staying at short. And he's probably not staying at second. Like he's probably just going to be third because he has a cannon. Yeah. But like, I would rather keep Trey Sweeney than Ken Waldichuk and Manaea. And he's like, we have 2 guys above him who are really good. And then we have Arias behind him who we're hoping is really good. Nobody really knows with him yet. Yeah. But he was like coming out of international as the best international prospect last year, which normally those things, I mean, if you look at Dominguez, this is going pretty well so far. For the Yankees. So yeah, I think it was a good deal all around, and I think it's going to help us out. What other trades do we want to talk about, boys?
I saw Molly got moved. I just don't know what the return was.
Who?
Tyler Molly.
Oh yeah, it was 3 other top 14 prospects. Shoot, I forgot the names.
I'm trying to find it right now.
It was Spencer Steer, Christian Encarnacion Strand, and Steve Hahar. I'm not sure how you pronounce that.
Yeah, those first 2 are pretty good. That's a pretty good return for Molly.
They'll be gone in 6 years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what we're saying. Like,
and in that time, like the Reds, 4 years from now, they're going to have a really good 2-year run, and they'll be back to square one.
Mm-hmm. That's just how it works for teams like that. And I can't say anything because I'm a Pirates fan. But I feel like we're maybe a little bit better than that, hopefully. But we'll see how that goes. But, I'm not surprised that the guys that they're getting, ideally, obviously, if they work out, it'll make them better in a couple of years. And then you can see if they can make a run. But I don't like the idea in general of, like, trying to make a run every, 6 years and then knowing it's going to end the second that 6 years runs out. Like, just not fun if you're a Reds fan right now. I feel bad, and that's coming from, again, a Pirates fan who probably should feel just as bad, really. But even them, I feel like are a little bit worse off than me right now.
Is there nothing it's so irritating watching a team like the Padres, 27th or something, biggest market in baseball. Objectively in that regard, a small market team, but they try to win. They're going out and developing talent. Their owner isn't crying poor. Seeing all the Reds, the Rockies, the Pirates, all of these teams, and there's so many of them. It's a third.
What are the Rockies doing? The Rockies are the worst team. They're just.
I feel like they're just trying to exist and make sure nobody notices that they're there.
Sorry, Anthony, you can continue. I'm so pissed off about what the Rockies are doing. They don't trade players who should be traded, but then they shop players who you can probably keep for another year. Go ahead, Anthony.
No, I mean it's essentially the same thing. The Rockies are the worst organization in the sport, probably. I don't necessarily hate every decision not to trade guys. I think the Story stuff last year. is a lot more egregious than not trading like Daniel Bard. You know, there's not a lot of guys that want to pitch in Colorado, and if Bard is one of those guys, like you might as well keep him. But yeah, I mean, it's really frustrating watching all of these teams pretend that, you know, they're trying to win when everybody knows they're not.
They could get such a good return for CJ Cron, and they just don't care.
No. This whole small market thing, too, is a myth, in my opinion, because it's really about whether your owner is willing to spend money. Like, if the team owner is worth billions and they play in a small market, they're still going to make enough money where they can make big moves if they want to. Like with the Pirates case, I know that it's just they don't want to do it. They don't. Yep. And they're not willing to do it. They don't care if they do it. They know that people will show up enough where they can still make money off of it. It's not treated as a franchise that's supposed to be successful. It's just supposed to sit there and exist. No. That's what's so frustrating, I think, for fans of teams like that, is you know that this time of year when other teams are trying to get better or they're trying to reload their farm system or they're trying to do whatever, you're not going to be very involved in it. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, the Pirates would rather spend money to upgrade their ballpark than add a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great ballpark, though.
It is a great.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great to watch other teams play there. It's awesome to watch other teams play there. But that's about it. So
what? The Padres just got Brandon Drury?
Did they?
What?
That's what I'm guessing. Ronnie's on the account. That's what he just said. That's a pretty. Oh, what a weird. The Padres are really doing the dang thing, huh?
We have to talk about saying we're gonna try to win it right here, right now, and
right here, right now.
Later, we'll deal with it later. Which I respect that, I do. Yeah. But it's kind of nuts.
Like, the Hader trade also doesn't make any sense, in my opinion. I don't think getting Rogers back is enough. Like those prospects were and then you're like, oh, but Rogers supposed to be the centerpiece here? But that's not good enough for Hader, even if Hader's having a down year.
No, I don't really understand that for the Brewers at all either. Like, great for the Padres, obviously.
Obviously.
But like, that's the thing is when players like Hader get moved. I know he's a reliever because when he's on, he's the best in baseball when he's on. But at the same time, like trading him away for something that isn't legitimately a great package, I just don't see the point at all. I don't, because you're not really building the farm system that much with this trade. You got a couple good prospects, and you hope Rogers can do pretty well for you, but that's not moving the needle for you at all, definitely. And it's definitely helping the Padres more than it's helping you by a lot in that situation.
Yeah, the Brewers are like selling and they're leading the division. It's really weird. It's like they've kind of just accepted that they're only leading the division because the Cardinals are just giving it to them.
Yeah,
not playing well.
Yeah,
and they're just like, well, we're in the playoffs, but we know we're not going to win, so we're just gonna punt.
Yeah,
I can see the logic for Milwaukee. I do think San Diego, especially now that they've accelerated their World Series window a little bit, won the deal. But like I can understand. Okay, there's 1.5 years of Hader. We don't think we're a World Series contender, but like we were talking about earlier, if you get in, anything can happen. So they're not, tearing it down from first place.
Yeah.
No. They're keeping themselves viable. They got another, side-arming lefty he's pretty good. Roger, like there's a reason he was their closer, and he's struggled as Hader has. And like it's a downgrade, but it doesn't make that significant of a difference in their current timeline, and they also recouped a little bit of value with those prospects because that farm system is not good. And they're going to have to make a lot of moves on the fringes to kind of just rebuild it slowly. So, I mean, I don't love it for Milwaukee, but I could definitely get behind the logic of, okay, we're not going to be re-signing Hader, and that's a different discussion whether they should or shouldn't. But if we're not, we might as well do this thing that can at least help out our long-term future a little bit.
And not even just help out the long-term future. Give them the ability to make trades next year if they want to try and win. Because a direct quote from, our good friend Ronnie, their farm's armadillo guts. And like it's really bad. Like I looked at their top 30 and I was just like, ugh, like this is not a top 30. This is the bottom half of a top 30. There's no top part here. This is just 30 on.
The Brewers have always struck me as a very weird team in the sense that like they're never truly. I haven't seen them really truly be contenders at any point in the past like 5 years. But again, they're also not building up a farm system to try to help get a few guys in their system to come up and actually help push them over the edge. They're in this middle ground of like they're competitive, but we're not really waiting on anyone to come up and help us get more competitive. And you mentioned like doing stuff on the fringes in the meanwhile and seeing if you can make a run next year, maybe bring some guys in. But if you don't have the prospects to trade for any like top flight additions, I don't think that's going to move the needle enough for them in the NL. Like it's hard to compete with some of the top NL teams right now unless you're willing to give up a lot or completely tear it down and try again in 3-5 years.
All right, we gotta move on to. I like this Brandon Drury trade. There's no return yet, which the Padres getting Drury. He's a bench piece. Like he's not starting for them. Where is it? Like where is he going to start for them this year?
I don't know where he plays. Yeah,
maybe not. Like he can play any spot on the diamond. And I think that's probably what they're going for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a super utility
for the playoff run,
especially.
Like, I don't know.
I think he does find a place in that starting lineup. Not necessarily sure where.
He might rotate around and give people a break down the stretch.
Exactly. Yeah. Even if it's just okay, I'll play third now. I'll play first tomorrow. Like the dude's having a career year. He's a lot better than just your typical playoff
first
bench bat.
First guy off the bench. Yeah.
So like I think he'll get a starting amount of plate appearances, if you will, even if it's not a full-time job of sorts. But yeah, I mean, assuming it's nothing crazy, I like that for them. Again, they've made the decision that they're competing now. Go all in. You don't want to regret, not trading the 11th best prospect in your system.
Yeah, I agree.
Just seeing something about the return for Drury. Looks like Victor Acosta is involved.
Okay.
But that's all I've seen so far.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they couldn't have given up too much because they've already given up a lot at this point today. So there can't be too much left that's reasonable to give up. But still, like, even if he is just mostly a bench guy, like again, all these moves tell me like they think they can win it this year, and if not this year, next year, and they're just going to go for it. Then, I'm never going to look at a team and go, yeah, that was a bad idea to try to do that, especially when they're already a very good baseball team. It's not like they're middling in the pack right now and they want to make a jump into the playoffs. Like they're already a good baseball team.
Yeah. After the Soto trade, it looks like Acosta is the number 6 prospect for them. After the Soto trade, he's their number 6 prospect. Yeah. So like that's not too bad.
Yeah. Honestly, that kind of makes sense. Because that's like giving up the number 1 player in the Brewers farm.
Right, yeah. So.
But this is a quote from Carlos Correa that I find hilarious, and we have to just put this out there. On the Twins adding Tyler Mahle, he said, I looked at his Baseball Savant page and I saw a lot of red, which is awesome. That's
the correct answer to that. Yeah.
As a baseball Twitter guy, that's awesome. Because, I guess Carlos Correa is one of us now. But yeah, let's think. What are some of the trades that have stood out to you guys?
I'm looking here because I've talked about a lot of them.
As a Cardinals fan, I didn't mind the Quintana trade.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that at this point. Because obviously he wasn't going to be here long term with the Pirates, so it doesn't matter that much. And I like that Nunez kid. I think he can play definitely as a decent bat. And we need some more power in our farm system right now. Yeah. And then Oviedo, he does have major league experience, so at least you have somebody who has pitched. So
not good major league experience.
No, but again, we will take any pitcher any day of the week and just throw him out there and see what happens. That has been the motto of this team for a while. It's there's a free agent pitcher that no one wants. We'll bring him on and let him throw 30 innings and see if he can play or not. They never do play well, but at least we try, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, for the Cardinals, it made sense given the situation. So I know they were in on Montes and then missed out on that.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like getting Quintana more. Not necessarily that Quintana's not better, but I think he was cheaper and made it easier to pursue Soto, although that didn't pan out. And also, they needed more lefty pitching. Than anything. I mean, Montes is better, but he's a righty. They had no left-handed pitching, especially if Matz isn't going to play at all for the rest of the year now.
That's a big
the Padres are still trying to trade Will Myers and his money before the deadline.
Ooh.
Dude, they're not messing around.
Makes sense.
Yeah, also you do have to start moving money around a little bit. Yeah,
Drury can just slot him to the DH spot full time, which I hadn't realized when I was just listing off the positions. But
he's Voit and Hosmer are gone.
But the door's open for them to just step in there.
Bell can play. Yeah, too. Then. Yeah, that makes a little bit more sense when you think about it that way. I think, but.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that because you don't have Voit, you don't have Hosmer. It's not like you're going to be switching Bell with anyone who's playing first, like a DH first base platoon. But yeah, I guess he's just going to be their DH. And if they need him to, they can play him anywhere, just depending on the day.
That's true. Yeah.
That's actually a really good trade now that I think about it. I forgot their DH spot was open.
Yeah. Because Bell would have filled that without that trade, but now you have both there that you can switch in and out and do different things with. So that, he's probably going to play more than I would have thought then, even from what Anthony said. So
yeah, he's going to be a starter. I mean,
yeah, basically, yeah.
I am so surprised Rendon hasn't gone yet.
Yeah,
they're probably trying to get Abel or Painter from the Phillies, and it's just not going to happen. No. Like, as someone who watches those two guys pitch every week, it's not going to happen. I don't they're so attached to them. Painter had a no-hitter going in the fourth inning, and they pulled him just because they were like, oh, we gotta baby him. We don't want to do too much with him. It was his second game in high single A, and they're like, no, he can't pitch any more than that. And he had not even a no-hitter. He had a perfect game going, and they're like, nah, he's good. And then we let up 8 runs in the next 2 innings. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, it's not going to happen. I think they'd give up Ethan Wilson, who's I think number 5 in their farm. They definitely give up Garcia. I'm probably not supposed to be just calling out Blue Claws, who I think they would trade. It's all right. I have 5 games left working there. It's fine.
Yeah. What are you gonna do? Fire me? I'm leaving.
Yeah, I'm going to college. But yeah, I think that market for Rendon is gonna slow down here because people are just like, all right, if you're that attached to him and you think he's up here and everyone else thinks, well, because of his opt-out, he's here. You're just not going to be able to move him, and eventually you're going to force into nothing. Just not going to be fun for that team.
I do think the Rendon option hurts more than, he's just a rental, because obviously, if you're truly going for it, then it doesn't really matter. But he's most likely opting out. Obviously, which is why the option stinks. But B, if he gets hurt, he can opt in, and then you're on the docket for
22.5.
22.5. So I think that it dents the value a little bit, but when he's healthy, he's really good at baseball. He's a guy I wanted the Mets to get in the offseason. Even with the arm fatigue, I guess, if you can call it that, in September, and the health questions that surround him, because he's legitimately a guy that you could start on the first or second day of a playoff series and feel comfortable about it. So I think, whatever team gets him, I'm going to be jealous. I don't think the Mets are in on him, and they shouldn't be. But whoever gets him is going to get a good one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed. The Yankees saved a lot of money. Not money, a lot of prospects. They have a lot of ammunition. Jeez, dude, that was a bad stretch. That was a really bad sentence.
It happens.
But yeah, the Yankees, we have ammo. We could theoretically Mariners are acquiring Kirk Seal from the Giants. Okay, so the M's are going to be going for it a little bit more here, and the Giants have to be selling, but they're just not. Like they can't figure out how to get Rendon out.
Mariners, Casale just went.
Yeah,
Backup catcher doesn't really move the needle for me, but I mean, extra depth. You don't need Cal Raleigh getting hurt and then ending your season. So
yeah,
it's whatever.
but I mean, the Giants are get rid of Ruff and Casale today. Like that's not something I really expected. I thought they would move, Rendon and maybe Peterson, like depending on how the rest of the day goes. But they decide to move, a first base DH outfielder and a catcher. So, what are the Giants doing?
I don't even know.
I think they're selling. I think the offers aren't in. There's still, an hour and 20 minutes to the deadline. There is legitimate interest in Rodon. They still do have some expiring guys. I thought the Mets would be at least a little bit interested in a Wilmer Flores reunion. Obviously, they opted to go for Ruff instead, but they have some guys on expiring deals that can be moved. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just a waiting game at this point, at least for us. While they work the phones.
Yeah, I think Rodon's probably going to go to either St. Louis or Minnesota here pretty soon. I think those teams are pretty.
I haven't heard much about either of those teams.
Those are the teams I've heard because they're both kind of in similar situations. I think the Cardinals are pretty much just going all in on pitching now because they missed out on Soto. Because their situation was before that their offense was good, but not good enough to outweigh their bad pitching.
Yeah.
And now they didn't get the offensive boost, so now they have to upgrade the pitching.
Yeah, I've seen Phillies, Blue Jays, and Yankees for Rendon. Those are the three teams I've seen. I forget who that was from. Jeez. Might have been Sherman.
Mm.
So I really don't know what's gonna happen with him.
I do think they should move him.
They should.
If they can get a good package for him, which at this point a lot of big names have gone. So there's only probably a couple teams, probably the ones you guys already mentioned, that would be willing to give up enough to get him and have the incentive to do so. Minnesota would be interesting just because I really liked them getting Lopez from Baltimore. I thought that was a really good move because of the season he's having. But they still could use more pitching at this point, I think, for sure.
Yeah. Who else? So it's Hap, Contreras, Rendon. That's like all the big fish left.
Pretty much, yeah. And I would be surprised.
I mean, maybe Pablo Lopez, but not really.
Yeah, because he hasn't moved yet, has he?
No. If he moved, we would know. He's very good.
Yeah, he's super underrated. Or at least he was super underrated. He started getting a little more notoriety this year. He's my guy. I love him, and he's gonna end up a Yankee. It's gonna crush me.
He's not gonna be a Yankee. There's no way we can get him. We'd have to give up like Glaber and then some, like Glaber, Cabrera, Lucky and then like two other guys for like Wendell and Lopez.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't be opposed to personally.
But
and then you
probably not going to happen.
Put Peraza at second base or on the bench, like whatever you have to do to get IKF to never have to play never have to take another at bat for the Yankees. I never have to feel another ground ball, anything. Just never put him on the field. He literally couldn't make a routine throw to DJ LeMahieu last night, and DJ LeMahieu's a plus fielder. If you can't make a routine throw to a plus fielder, you have a problem. Like we were told this guy is gonna win us a Gold Glove here, and he's been booting balls across the infield. We already covered it.
I think JD Martinez will be an interesting one. There were like some back issues that were like vaguely put out there. and he has his fair share of concerns, and he's not moving out of the DH spot. And then there's still a decent amount of relievers that I'm waiting to see get moved. Detroit has a couple with Chafin and Fulmer. And so there's definitely everybody can use bullpen help this time of year. Especially, I'm waiting on the Mets to make some moves. I wanted Robertson, but obviously they didn't land him. So I think that'll be one of the more interesting ones, because outside of Lopez and Robertson, I was expecting a little more movement. And again, there's still time left. But I feel like we might see those guys fall off the board, if you will.
This is just kind of a jab at Joey Gallo. The guy that we traded Joey Gallo for is already the top 10 prospect in the Yankees farm. So welcome to New York, buddy. I think his name's like Beetle.
Clayton Beater. He's good, dude. High upside arm. He struggled with his command and control.
Who doesn't?
So far, but high upside arm. I think, in my opinion, a plus breaking pitch, plus fastball that he uses up in the zone. So yeah, he's a guy I wrote about when the Dodgers drafted him, because he was like, there's a non-zero chance he just makes that jump from college to the major leagues, which we've seen a handful of guys do. And obviously they decided to play the long game instead. And it's not entirely clear if he's going to be a reliever or a starter at the major league level, but he's high upside arm. And I mean, that's what you want if you're going to be stocking up on pitching prospects.
Also, great first name if you're going to be a pitcher. So,
yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very okay with getting a top 10 prospect for Joey Gallo. Right. I love Joey Gallo. He seems like such a nice dude. And I was really rooting for him. I have a Gallo and Rizzo shirt. I bought that as soon as it got made at the trade deadline last year. And I really believed in him. It just didn't work out, which, makes sense. But,
he was always going to be a boomer bust guy. Just the way his plate approach is, it's just really
he's a true 3 outcome hitter.
Yes,
but
not getting enough of the good outcomes right now.
Yeah, he's just not getting. He's not getting really any. He's not even getting the half decent outcomes. He's just getting the bad one, the one bad one.
Pretty much.
I would take it if he was getting walks. You look at Benintendi. Benintendi's last 10 at bats, he's 0 for 3, with a sac fly and 6 walks. I'll take that all day over what Joey.
Yeah, you just need to get on base if you're not going to hit for average or a ton of power like he's capable of. At least get on base, and he wasn't doing that either. So I don't blame Yankees fans for being like, listen, we're done with it. So
yeah.
So
did you guys see the interview with him when he got asked about the booth?
Yeah, that made me sad. That made me really sad. But again,
sad.
That's what happens when you're New York sports figure. It's gonna happen if you're not doing good. So
man. Oh wow, question. That's messed up, dog.
What?
While Joey Gallo, not Joey, while Josh Donaldson is hitting BP, the song "Off the Books" is playing, which is very ironic, considering how much we're paying, bro. But yeah, what was your question? What happened?
Oh, I was gonna ask you guys just because I thought this was interesting from the Cardinals' perspective. I know the big hang up with them with Soto was Carlson, right? Giving him up as part of that. Would you have done that if you were them?
Depends on what else. Because also, they were also hesitant with even Jordan Walker too.
Yeah, which I get, but
I would have done if it was just Carlson and maybe Carlson and Walker. I'd have been okay, but if it was Carlson, Walker, Wynn, Graceffo, that's a lot.
It's a lot, yeah. And that's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
And I mean, if there was ever a time for the Cardinals to abandon the quote unquote Cardinal way and go all in on winning a title, this is the year to do it.
Yeah.
With Waino, Yachty, and Pujols all being there in their last seasons, more than likely, this would have been the year to just throw everything out the window and go for it.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just really not what they do.
No, it's not. And that's like, I wasn't surprised when I saw their report that they kind of nixed that and they're like, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
But again, if they would have done what the Padres are doing right now, for the most part, taking that approach, I mean, especially in their division, they're not dealing with a lot of competition outside of the Brewers, who don't seem to know if they want to compete or not right now. I think it would have been maybe worth it, but it would have been a big stretch for them to do something like that. So
they would have had to do more than just Soto.
Absolutely. Yeah, it would have taken multiple moves like what the Padres are doing right now.
They would have had to do that and then like 2 pitchers, one that's higher upside and then an inning eater. Like I would
Soto. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
If they
No,
had
you're
Soto
good.
and then Rodon too you could see it. Or if they'd have gotten Montes and Soto,
it's justifiable.
Yeah, then it makes more sense. But yeah, just getting him would have been like, yeah, that helps you right now. But like,
you would have been better.
Enough?
Like, you wouldn't have been amazing.
Yeah, is that enough? Probably not.
Yeah, because they don't have the pitching right now.
No.
Like they don't have no matter how good their offense is, they don't have the pitching to win a World Series unless Jack Flaherty comes back and is lights out again.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if that's going to happen. I highly doubt it.
I mean, at this point, yeah, I'm not too confident in the fact that he's going to come back and be, shut down for, the rest of the year. Contreras and Happ are both in the lineup for the Cubs as of now. So yeah, I don't know why.
If you're the Cubs, you have to just move them, right? Like, you can't justify keeping either of them, really, especially Contreras. But still, like, you got to keep building up the system, and you got to keep tearing things down while you have the opportunity to, because they're nowhere close to being competitive, and there's no reason to keep guys like that on your roster at this point. The thing
with, I mean, I don't want to compare it to the Story thing last year in terms of like, oh my God, it's, this disastrous move if they don't move him. Because I think at some point you still, you don't want to accept a crappy offer just for the sake of accepting one.
Yeah.
They can re-sign him. I don't know if they necessarily will or should. But do they think the return that they're being offered is better than a compensation round like A or B selection?
Right.
I think that's probably where the line is, because they can offer him the qualifying offer. And yeah, I mean, like, if they're expecting another like PCA like deal with Baez from last year, like, I know the Mets aren't going to do that again. Even if even if they are in on him, there will be a definitive ceiling on the price. So like, as much as I would like
you
to
give
see
up?
I mean, seeing everything else that's gone down in terms of rentals, I would prefer not to give up. I mean, obviously Alvarez isn't going in that deal.
Yeah.
I think Vientos and Mauricio are both more expendable, in my opinion, than probably in the team's opinion. So I'd be more willing to let them go. Not both in the same package. But like, if it was Robertson and Contreras, I could say, okay, let's build a package around, Mauricio or Allen, or Vientos, and go from there. But I'm not even sure that's what it would take. Like, if it absolutely had to, I don't think at this point I would trade. I don't know, man. I like Ramirez. I'd like to keep Ramirez. I don't think they extend Contreras. So there's like a point of recklessness, and I don't want a prospect hug. So I think Matt Allen would probably be the highest I'd go at this point. He's probably the top arm in the system still. But he hasn't pitched professionally in a while, at least not in bulk, because he's been rehabbing. And yeah, the line, like the the voices are you're prospect hugging if you don't deal one of your top guys, and you're reckless if you do. So just towing that line is important, and having another repeat of last year. Like if Contreras comes here and hits 220 and isn't like a significant upgrade defensively, like it'll be an issue. So I think the Mets aren't going to do it if it means giving up one of those top 4 or 5 prospects in their system.
I don't know why this is the package I put together for the Mets in my head. All right, Ronnie. But I don't know why I had Allen and JT Schwartz in my head. Just because I've seen JT play and he's really struggling, but he has all the he has the tools. He's just really struggling. So I wouldn't be surprised if they threw him in there just to throw him in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think like these guys are expendable in the right deal, of course. I think Allen, especially given that he hasn't pitched. The Intos for me just doesn't feel like a guy that becomes a true plus starter. There's defensive question marks, and I don't think his bat is as good as people are hyping it up to be. So like if he's the guy they call up to be the DH, I'd be more comfortable with Ruff this year than I would with Vientos at DH. So I'm not in love with him. Mauricio is another like really toolsy guy, but defensive question marks. The plate discipline isn't really close. And so sure, a switch hitting power shortstop sounds great. But the idea of it might be worth more than the actual practical value of I'm not entirely sure where this guy's playing, and I'm not entirely sure this guy can hit major league pitching.
Yeah.
So I would be willing to part with them. I don't want to make it sound like, they cannot trade these guys. They're going to be cornerstones. If the right deal emerged, then fine, pull the trigger. But I think it's more likely that they're moving these Allen, Khalil Lee, Junior Santos types of prospects, if you will.
This is a kind of a Rendon update, and also kind of a Pablo Lopez update. Peraza, Cabrera, basically everyone rumored that the Yankees would be willing to give up for what's it called? Rendon or Lopez is in the lineup tonight in Scranton. Peraza, Cabrera, all those guys are in the lineup tonight. So do with that what you will. The Yankees might be out on Rendon, or they might just have them in the lineup because they don't know if it's going to happen, and they can pull them whenever the hell they want.
That's true.
But, people love to lineup watch. I like to do it too, so I'm not going to fault the people.
Yeah,
but
I just don't know
how
much it matters really at this point, because we're an hour out. No matter what, something's going to have to happen in the next hour. The likelihood of anything major happening in the next hour, not super high. So I don't think that they have to worry too much about that. They can just pull them if they have to, or whatever the case may be.
What other trades have we missed that were major this week?
I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything here.
Just an update per Robert Murray. The Padres got back Jersey boy Jay Groom in Eric Hosmer deal. So actually, I like that for them.
Yeah, there it is. That's pretty good right there. Jersey on top. Hey, listen, it's been a good year for Jersey baseball. I'm just saying, we had like 4 guys in the top 6 rounds, which is actually more than that. It's 6 guys in the top 6 guys in the top 8 rounds, I think. That might be wrong. It's some number that's way higher than normal. Normally we get like 1 or 2. And then we had a few guys, we had a guy stay in state who may or may not be interviewing for the base pass eventually. We've had some scheduling conflicts with that. Base pass will be back, just to clarify. Rookie ball is killing me. It's so hard to schedule with these guys because they're out there all day and then they're dead and they don't really want to talk, which
Fair
I
enough.
get. So, base pass will be back. I'll be doing some supplemental content coming soon. I also have work all week, and then I'll be packing up to go to college. So it's going to be crazy next 2 weeks, but the base pass, it will be back. Carlos Rendon isn't pitching today. Didn't we already know that? Why is that a headline? Was he supposed to pitch today?
Yeah, was he the probable?
I
mean,
look.
Was he the probable? Because I didn't think he was. I thought he pitched 3 nights ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, maybe that person was just trolling.
No, he pitched on Sunday.
Yeah. So then this is non-starter.
He wouldn't have. Yeah, it wouldn't have mattered anyway.
All right. Yeah, non-starter. Someone was just saying that to be annoying. Cool. Nice. Thanks, guys.
Don't play with us right now, you know?
The Boyd trade's weird because he hasn't pitched at all this year.
Yeah, I saw that too.
People don't like. It's projected that he won't pitch all year.
Yeah, is that like just a future move, or I don't really understand that.
Like, he's not gonna come off the.
I don't think so.
I can't speak to his health or how likely it is that he comes back this year. But I feel like the only thing going for him, and this is a guy I liked early in his career in Detroit. Yeah. The only thing going for him is that the balls aren't juiced anymore.
Yeah, fair enough.
Other than that, I don't think he's very good.
No, I don't see that making an impact.
And so, I mean, I'd imagine it was really cheap.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Doesn't move me.
Yeah, I think they were just trying to get arms, I guess. But do they not know he's not going to pitch this year? Like,
I don't know. I mean,
I think they might know more than we do.
I hope so. Yeah. But
so like, I don't know, maybe not the Rockies, but the other 29 teams.
Yeah, but I'll take my team out of that. But
yeah, this collective 4 is smarter than 28 MLB teams. I mean,
probably
than 2 MLB teams. Not
2.
Not the other 28. Not 28. That'd be bad. Can't say that if I'm ever gonna get a job in baseball.
Yeah, probably not the best way to boost your prospects there.
Yeah, no. All right. Any other? Oh, Trey Mancini. We didn't really talk about that one.
Oh yes, that's I
forgot about and Vasquez.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really talk about. Go ahead.
I just said we didn't really talk about those two.
The difference in left field wall distance from Camden Yards to Minute Maid Park is astronomical. Like Trey Mancini, there's arguments that like it wasn't a great trade for like the culture, or they didn't get enough back, or yada yada yada. Trey Mancini is going to destroy baseballs in Houston, and like he's gonna produce. So I really like it for Houston. I think there's a chance he goes back to Baltimore in the offseason, which would kind of fix the whole like, oh, you gutted the team when they were over 500 for the first time in 20 million years. So like, yeah, I think like that's a part of it. Not everything is, oh, you're bad, you have to trade everybody away. Oh, you're good, you have to trade for people. But I really like this move for Houston. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the other deal I made, or I like the Vasquez one a little bit, but the Will Smith for Jake Odorizzi trade, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I like the fact that they have pitching depth and that they're using it.
But who cares?
That's kind of my thing. Is I think it's one of those things where it's like, why do I care? You know what I mean? Like, there's certain trades where I'm just like, good for them that they did something, I guess. But it almost feels like sometimes, especially trade deadline, sometimes trades happen and you're just like, that probably didn't have to happen, but I guess good for you for doing something today. I don't know. I don't know. It is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, so Phillies are still trying for Rendon, which they have been all day, but again, price has been too high. They already dealt Ben Brown, which is really the one starter that they were okay with dealing. I know they're way higher on Dom Pimkin than like all the networks and stuff. But they're still definitely willing to trade Pipkin.
Yeah.
And then that's really like they're not gonna trade any of their low-level bullpen arms because they just don't have to, because those guys are gonna fly up. And they have a weak bullpen already. So why make your minor league bullpen weak when you don't even have one in the MLB? And then they're just not trading Abel. There's no way they trade Mick Abel. Like, that's the one player. Like, Mick Abel, Anthony Volpe are the two people I cannot see going today.
Yeah.
Because they're the only two teams that are still active, it feels like, in this. Those are the only two players. And I guess Andrew Painter. But they're just not. There's no way.
Yeah.
Even though those guys are high school arms that came right in and they're already producing, like, I know that's scary for a lot of teams, but still, there's just no shot.
Yeah, I like what the Phillies have done so far at the deadline. This move would be kind of out of it a little bit. This would be getting away from it. They've made a bunch of like little moves to where like they've kept themselves competitive long term, but are still like trying to at least get back to the playoffs. Like they're trying to win now, but not risking blowing things up in the long term. This move would, I don't know. I think to get Rodon, they'd have to get away from that a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to take more than what they've been willing to give up. So, and I think with Rodon, like obviously it'd be great addition for anyone who could get him. But again, if the Giants aren't willing to part with him for a pretty fair price, which I guess I don't blame them if they want to try to cash in on him as much as they can. But it looks like more and more that he's just going to stay, and they're just going to roll it with him the rest of the year.
I feel like this Mets headline is one for Anthony right here.
Mm-hmm. Shit, that doesn't surprise me at this point.
And I think the way the catcher room was going to shake out with Contreras in it would have been a little weird. I know Buck Showalter recently talked about how he brought Nito into his office and he thought that he'd been traded, but he was just telling him that he's done a good job. And, you know, Nito is not stopping a Contreras deal. But I think, like, yeah, catcher as a whole, but you could live with your catcher being an offensive deficiency if the lineup is good enough around him and they're providing good defense. McCann and Nito both do different things well defensively, even if neither are plus defenders. They're black holes offensively. You know, you live with it. And I think making sure that Escobar doesn't have to see right-handed pitching and adding Ruff are good ways to build the rest of that lineup up around the catcher position so that you're not trading for Contreras doesn't kill you. And it comes down to if they thought that they would have traded and extended him, they probably would have been willing to give up more. The Cubs are asking for too much. They're also not receiving bullpen help back. There's no reason to give up, you know, one of these top guys. And if that's all Chicago's willing to accept, then, you know, no deal.
Xander Bogaerts, said he questioned the direction of the organization with the Vasquez move. Said there are pieces leaving the organization, but none coming in. So he's gone, right? Like he's leaving.
He's right is the first thing.
Well, yeah.
But we all know that. I don't think the Vasquez trade is what really made everyone think that. But it's just, I don't see him coming back. It doesn't make sense for him, especially. And really for the way the Red Sox are playing things, I don't think it makes a lot of sense for them either.
No. I really don't know what they're doing. They're bringing in, like, Hosmers, and they're trading away, like, pretty solid guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them.
Well, that's the Red Sox. Maybe they'll find a way to win a championship in 6 years.
Yeah, they'll have a weird season where it's like, oh, everything turned out great this year, and then next year, we're not good anymore.
It's been weirdly quiet for the past 20 minutes.
Yeah, it feels like stuff is either about to happen or everything has stopped happening at this point entirely. I don't really know which one at this point.
My timeline.
Go ahead. What?
I was just going to say that my timeline is just filled with people bagging on the Mets, like Mets fans bagging on the Mets for this rough trade, and I'm not sure I get it. JD Davis, I think, I tweeted a short thread about him the other day. Like, there's a good chance he wasn't going to survive this roster role if they upgraded a DH, and he's going to go to some smart team, and they're going to fix him, and they're going to make the Mets look dumb. It's a possibility. He went to a smart team with some maybe the best coaching staff in baseball. I think he'll do. I think it's a good fit in San Francisco, but I don't think Sapucki's going to be a positive wins above replacement pitcher.
No.
I'm not as a lucky guy. And they gave up 2 2021 draft picks, both pitchers, which like you would prefer not to, I guess. But he's also under team control till the end of next year, and there's a team option for 2024. Will it be used? Probably not. He's getting up there, and only really hitting against one side of the plate can be fragile. And he also does not offer any real defensive versatility. But look, again, if they win this year, doesn't matter what they give up. And I don't think the cost was particularly high anyway.
That's big right there.
Yes.
Dodgers making a final hour push for Pablo Lopez. That could kill the playoffs completely. That's a joke, but it would make them incredibly hard to beat because you'd have to go, Kershaw, Lopez, Bueller. What's his name? Yeah, I can't speak today, guys. I'm so tired. Trevor Unsaw traded to the Brewers. Hey, the Brewers did something. Clap it up for the Brewers, everybody. They brought somebody in. Shocking, really crazy development.
Trevor Rosenthal.
Good old Trevor Rosenthal.
They give him a bag of chips or something? Or
Yeah.
What's the return on that? It hasn't pitched in 2 years.
Oh, man, that's so funny.
God.
I will say, to go back to the Mets just one more time, if Trevor May is the deadline bullpen acquisition, it'll be disappointing. You hope that he's better than he was now that he's healthy, and obviously DeGrom getting back is massive. But at least just for bullpen purposes, Ottavino has been great. Do I trust him necessarily, or do I trust that he'll be an awesome 8th inning guy down the stretch in the playoffs? Not really. He's pitched well, so credit to him. Lugo's been inconsistent. He looked great against the Yankees, but there's some consistency issues there. And we don't know how May's going to look. Maybe McGill comes back as a reliever, but David Peterson's not a late inning reliever in any sense of the word. Joely Rodriguez, I love hasn't been good enough to be a late inning guy that you want, when you're facing 2 lefties. So I'll be surprised if they don't bring a reliever in, but I can't say that I'm not used to the Mets going into a trade deadline and saying, hey, we're getting these guys back from the injured list. Those are our acquisitions. So
about, Jolie, I personally, y'all want to cut him, I'll take him right back. You guys can have Castro back too if you want. He's on the 60-day. Real great. Hold on here. Both wondering, he's been not saying, but openly wondering if the Cubs overplayed their hand on Contreras and the Hap by holding firm to very high price tags. The Cubs are really waiting on San Diego, and then Jeff Passan said an hour is a really long time. So I guess he's saying things could change, and that they did keep those high price tags for a little bit too long. But I don't really. Do we know how high the price tag was for them? Obviously, it was high.
I haven't heard anything.
Was it 2 top 10 prospects? What were they trying to get for these guys? that's turning teams off completely. You know what I'm saying?
It's got to be at least 2 top 10 guys if it's actually causing discussion just to blow up, basically. Like, because anything less than that, and you could talk, right? But if it's 2 top 10 prospects, then that might be enough to shut it down.
That's just weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what their plan is at this point with that.
Who knows? Who cares? It's the Cubbies.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah,
it's the Cubs. Like, so all right, we're final 45 here. What's one move that y'all want to see happen before the end of the deadline? We're gonna start with Dalton.
Well, I want to see the Cardinals get Rodon. Like I want to see them at least try something to get over the hump, because I don't know. I mean, I feel like with Waino, Yachty, and Pujols there, you kind of owe it to them to pull out all the stops.
All right, Anthony, how we feel? What's our one move we want to see happen?
Yeah, I mean, at least for the Mets, again, just adding some sort of bullpen help, preferably somebody that could get lefties out. There's still a decent amount of guys available. I don't think they're particularly expensive, and I do think it's a move that gets made, in these next 45 minutes.
Shane?
I want to see Pablo Lopez get moved somewhere where he can help boost rotation.
Not the Dodgers.
Yeah, not the Dodgers for sure. I will say that, but that kind of seems like where, if it's going to happen, it looks like that's probably where it's going to happen. But I'd like to see it in playoff contention and just see. If
all right. So Shane wants Pablo Lopez to be a Yankee. Let me write that down.
Well, I mean, it's still better than Dodgers. So
listen, I would like Pablo Lopez to be a Yankee.
I'm sure you would. Yeah.
So. But don't think that's going to happen. They seem pretty pat with Montas.
Yeah.
Benny and Efros is their deadline, which I'm good with. I like Rendon. Or just listen. I was looking through MLB Trade Simulator earlier, and you throw Lucas Lucky to the Dodgers for Cody Bellinger. I'll take it. Like, why not? Who cares? Try it. See what happens. He can take, Hicks's spot. I don't know. They'll be able to figure something out to get him at bats. Yeah. So that would be mine. I think I don't want anything big anymore because I'm okay with calling up Peraza and making it so that IKF never has to play baseball again for the New York Yankees.
Fair enough.
That can be a deadline acquisition in my mind at this point. I don't want to have to give up any more. Again, I don't care about pitching prospects that much, but I'd rather not trade 8 or 9 this deadline. We traded 5 or something like that already, or no, 6 already. So I'd rather not trade anymore, because then Davy Garcia, who's dog water, is our best pitching prospect. And first of all, we ruined Davy Garcia. We tried to make him change his arm angle, and he lost all of his stuff. And now he just hasn't gotten it back. He's played all right this year. But when you have Oswaldo Cabrera and Oswaldo Peraza, who can both come up and play right now in the MLB, in my opinion, do it. You're trying to win a World Series. IKF isn't going to add anything. Cabrera can play any infield position. Keep him on the bench. It'll be fine. It'll work out. And Peraza can be your full-time shortstop.
Yeah, at least just see if it'll work, because at this point, there's no reason not to see if that'll give them a boost. And if it doesn't, oh well, you got to look at it to see if it could help you this year. So,
yeah, I mean, there's literally there's no reason not to. And at this point, there's no one you're not going to lose anything by benching IKF, is what I should have said. Yeah, you're not going to lose anything. Yeah.
There's be an addition by subtraction type of situation.
Yeah. Even if Peraza's decent in his rookie year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even if he's just decent this year, then so be it. He's decent and we are competing for a World Series. He has to bat 7th, not 2nd. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't have to be crazy good this year. Eventually, I'd like him to be, but
I will say one thing on like the whole ammunition thing. It means different things for different teams to like when they're giving up these prospects. Like with the Yankees, they're giving up a lot of pitching prospects. They also have maybe the best pitch dev team in all of baseball. So I think they're confident that they can replenish their farm system with arms fairly quickly. You take on enough lottery tickets and let Blake and friends work everything out. And I think there's a handful of teams that you could feel pretty good about that. So like the Padres, or I think Seattle's probably a better example, where it's like they went all in on Castillo, and it was a lot, but I feel fairly confident that Seattle can maintain a decent farm system, even though they're turning into buyers. And so there's a decent amount of teams like that where you feel comfortable with it versus like the Mets of old. Like they've definitely made strides in their analytics department and their player development system. But like trading away a good pitching prospect would mean that, there's not another one coming for a while. So it's just a different landscape for different teams. Where with the Yankees, I, feel fairly comfortable that this deadline, like you survived this deadline without giving up Volpe, who they were never going to trade, and a lot of your other big name guys, and you're still in a pretty healthy spot.
Yeah, I mean, look at Steven Ridings last year. He was literally a substitute teacher, and then in 3 weeks, he was throwing 100. What? Oh, okay, Mets. Yeah, but like they were Steven Ridings came in and was throwing 110 shutout innings in a row. He was literally a substitute teacher the year before. So like, I'm not worried about Yankees pitching. I would like to keep somebody to be able to trade next year. Like not necessarily because these guys are ever going to play in pinstripes, just because we can trade them next year. Like there's no world where right now I want to see Clark Schmidt traded. So if Syndergaard goes to the Phillies, the door opens wide for the Yankees and Rendon. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, the Cardinals could be in on that too. But this is big about Syndergaard. He's just going to eat innings if he goes to the Blue Jays. But like for the Phillies, that could actually be useful.
I don't think a universe exists where Syndergaard goes to the Phillies and faces the Mets and they don't put up like 6 runs immediately. And like this Syndergaard deal, and it's not that like he's like this awful pitcher.
Right. Yeah.
One of the worst free agent contract decisions I've ever seen. From the Angels' perspective, where you're losing a draft pick, you don't know if he could throw a breaking ball. It's a 1-year deal anyway. Like it was just so many things. Like okay, maybe you're getting some prospect value for him, but it's not going to be a lot. He hasn't been very good. It's a back of the rotation starter for the Phillies. It's just ugly.
Yeah, the Angels really swung and missed with that. Like, as I understand, they tried to boost their pitching staff. They knew it was something they had to do, but it wasn't a really safe bet at all to do it the way that they did with him. And I think now they're just trying to get something for him, obviously, before this year ends. And obviously, we know how it went for them this year so far. So,
yeah, I mean, to be honest, like, what are you realistically going to trade for Syndergaard? Like prospect 22, 23.
Yeah, you're getting a very bottom 30 prospect with whatever organization it is. Like that's what you should be expecting to get back at least.
Yeah, I think just a couple little minor leagues lottery tickets, like maybe a 40 FV guy with tools. I don't want to say Mauricio because Mauricio's way better than any of the prospects. But like a Mauricio type where it's like, oh yeah, I'm not entirely sure where he plays, but he's athletic. He has a lot of raw power. Like, let's see where this goes. So I think someone like that, on a lower scale, I think can be a target for the Angels.
Yeah, they just really got to get in there. Like, I'm trying to think of guys in the Phillies farm who I know they would like you could take a shot on Carlos De La Cruz, who's 6'8", plays first, outfield, and he played one game at third this year. But since Saturday, he has like 7 home runs and 14 RBIs. And he's been playing really well all season. He's been fielding really well. You take him and some other guys who aren't ranked, and then like one ranked guy, and you might be able to just get that done. Like, just get it out of there. I don't want to see Carlos traded. He's, a guy who I think has a lot of upside. Probably won't be moving. Ooh. Here we go.
Jake Lamb.
Oh,
it's not aware.
I saw Dodgers and I assumed it was like something big.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I also was not aware Jake Lamb was still in the league. I'm gonna be honest. I agree with Ronnie here.
This goes back to the whole redundancy thing we talked about with Gallo and Muncy and Bellinger, and Lamb and Rios, where there were just so many, lefty power bats that are going to strike out a lot. Where I think this clears the path a little bit for the Dodgers, and then the Mariners is just beefing up the bench a little bit. I think I like it for the Dodgers a little more than I do. I mean, obviously I'm saying that without the return, but I like the ability to free up at bats. For the guys that they just traded for.
Oh, it's just for cash.
All right. Well,
imagine being like, "Hey, Dodgers, do you want cash?"
They're like, "Yeah, well, we could always use some more cash."
What? All right.
The Dodgers really wanted to free up some at bats.
Really wanted to free up some at bats.
But
what's that going to pay? Like an eighth of Joey Gallo's $4 million contract that they have to pay now. Is that what that's going to be? It's going to be like $500,000. It's just something stupid. But yeah, we got a half hour here till the deadline. I think that's just about it for us, unless you guys have anything else you want to add. But I think things will change as we come down to the wire here. We're going to be signing off here. So any last words, boys?
Happy DeGrom Day. He's back. Going to the World Series. It's going to be wonderful.
I'll see.
Not if the Dodgers get Pablo Lopez. Dude, that would be such a great series if they got Pablo Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
Ronnie, look at the clock, dog. You were the one who posted from 4 to 5:30. You literally posted it this morning.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about, but whatever.
I mean, I can keep going if you guys want to sign off. I can go through the deadline, but it's been an hour and a half. I didn't,
No, I didn't. All right, well.
Yes, you did, Ronnie. Tigers in 3. All right. Is this what this is turning into? It's just going to be Tyler and Ronnie talking.
Tigers in 3 years will win 80 games? Is that what he's trying to say? Or
Tigers in 3 years will still be about 500.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
We have to report on the backup catchers yet to be traded. Fair.
Listen. I don't know. I'll keep going. I don't care. If y'all want to sign off, go for it. But we can keep going. Tyler is TikTok famous.
He is. I was so surprised when that happened, by the way. I was like, what is because I was just on TikTok and found the video. I didn't look for him. I'm like, is this Tyler? And then I looked. I'm like, oh my God, it is Tyler. What the hell? I had to go in the chat and be like, listen, why didn't no one tell me about this?
I'll be scrolling on Instagram and then I'll just hear with my headphones in and I'll just hear Tyler's voice on an Instagram reel. I'm like, bro, get out of my head. You're everywhere now.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the intent of his comment, but I feel like we had to plug DeCina Sports.
He's our ticket, man. He's the ticket to getting
listen,
going.
Me and Tyler might have something in the works. I don't want to show our cards too much, but me and Tyler might have something in the works. Yeah. Yeah. Tyler has a 1 million view video on TikTok right now.
Yeah.
And I love how we're talking about this on the trade deadline show.
Hey,
Okay,
nothing
you
else
know what
going
made
on,
me
bro.
mad? You know what made me mad?
Oh,
I
great.
put out a great video about the World Baseball Classic and how Team Netherlands is the weirdest thing ever because it's just guys from like the Dominican Republic, and like Aruba on Team Netherlands, and one guy from Springfield, Utah, in the 2017 team. Like it's just weird.
Mhm.
And it got like 200 views right after Tyler got 13K on the same account. So that was awesome.
Right.
And Tyler or backup catchers too. Honestly, backup catchers.
Yeah,
Baseball isn't
honestly.
mid, dog. We've been talking for baseball about baseball for an hour and a half, and you're gonna sit here and tell us it's mid.
Ronnie, are the Padres the favorites to win it all? No, I don't know if I want to say that. I
don't think so.
I think that their chances have improved obviously a lot in the past 24 hours, but to call them the favorites, even in the NL, it would be a stretch at this point. We got to see how this team plays together now that they have all these guys here.
I don't know if they're better than the Dodgers, the Astros, or the Yankees, or the Mets.
Yeah, I think it puts them closer to that conversation, at least. It should. But we'll have to see how they play together, especially when Tatis gets back, too.
Yeah, like we don't know.
It's just
you also don't know how Tatis is going to do.
Did Tyler say you got bowled?
Yes, because
how many sports are we referencing today?
The video that Tyler posted that destroyed mine was about Bol and that 7-foot lineup.
Okay.
All right. And how Bol should get minutes and how we all kind of memed Bol into getting minutes in the bubble. And it worked.
I agree.
It worked really well for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Whatever.
Fun fact, I was a virtual fan for a game that Bol started in the bubble. And I wore a horse head the entire time and then had a really bad breakout on my chin because I was sweating in that thing because I had a sheet around my desk because it was in my old house. I didn't want people to see my bed on TV, but then I didn't realize it was a green screen behind. Like they put up a fake green screen behind you. So it just looks like a chair. So, yeah, let's just make this clear. I was a sophomore. So can we just make that clear?
Are you trying to excuse yourself? Because I don't know if I can excuse that.
Shane, I put a bed sheet in with bobby pins into my ceiling. Not bobby pins, push pins into my ceiling. And then we moved out and there were holes in the ceiling. Again, this is the trade deadline show. Orioles to acquire Brett Phillips. No, I wanted him on the Yankees.
Of course you did, yeah.
As a pitcher. No, I'm kidding.
There you go. More pitching depth, yeah.
This is the reliever the Mets wanted.
The Orioles fans are going to love him.
Yeah, they are. Oh, you traded away the heart of the team. Yeah, but we got Brett Phillips, Mr. Nice Guy.
The heart transplant.
Yeah, he's literally the nicest person in baseball. Listen, someone said G-Man Choi might be on the move. I don't remember who that was, but it was somebody, and they had a check mark, and they were associated with the Rays, so I just assumed it was true.
They had a check mark. That's the first thing you got to check for. Yeah.
Well, check marks are kind of bogus because Spoon has one, so therefore.
Yeah, I tried to get one, and they told me no, and I'm like, I am me, so I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I
had somebody make a fake account of me when I was a minor, and they still wouldn't verify me. Because they were like, nah. I'm like, but this isn't me. Like,
it's not me.
Can we clarify that this isn't me? And it says me, and the bio was just one curse word, and their only tweet was one curse word, and it wasn't even directed at me.
I don't know.
But can't get a check mark because someone's literally they literally have my school picture. So somebody took a picture of their yearbook or something.
That's so funny.
Tyler's friend has the ad he wanted on Twitter because he told him about it. Is it Descent of Sports, or what's your ad now, Tyler? This is a free plug attempt, so there you go, Ty.
Yeah, he's just trying to throw himself out there more. Like he needs it at this point.
Tyler Descent at NFL. Ow, that really hurt.
What did you do?
What are you Yankees question marking? You can't just Yankees. Yankees have been talking to the Mariners about Pablo Lopez, per John Hyman. It would be prospects if it happens. So knock labor, dude. Let's go. Let's get it done. We're staying on for the rest of the time now. This is. I'm standing for the rest of the stream. I was supposed to go to dinner with somebody, but I gotta text them. Pablo Lopez. John what? John Heyman. What are you talking about? Did I say Hyman? I do that all the time. That's like the time.
I bet you did, because I was trying to think of what he was talking about. I'm like, I think that's what you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that all the time. I also for like 3 weeks on Around the Bronx, which was our Yankees podcast when me and Sanket did it. I love Sanket. More people should care about Sanket on the internet. He's an amazing dude, and he puts out great content when he actually puts out content. And he covered for me yesterday when the Montas trade happened because I was driving to New York. Yeah. So shout out my boy Sanket. He's the GOAT. But I was saying Domingo Herman is Domingo Germain for like 3 weeks, and I didn't notice. Like, I knew what his name was, but I just didn't notice. Like, I just kind of did for 3. I even made him Player of the Week because we had a sponsored Player of the Week segment on that show. That's where I got this poster. I'm just rambling now. You guys can tell me to shut up.
I'm having a good time, so I mean,
nobody's made any moves, so
I know.
There's a move. We'll
pivot to.
All right, I'm gonna do the Macarena.
Yep, that's my cue. I'm gonna.
Yeah, but all right, we're gonna do. Let's put that together. Some packages for Pablo Lopez here.
What are you willing to give up? You think?
Peraza.
Okay.
I don't even know who's still in our farm. Gomez. I don't know. Uruguay. I don't know how to say his name. That's definitely not Uruguay. It's something with a Y. Hold on. Let's see.
Is it Andres Gomez? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't know how to say names.
I'm not sure if that's how you say it or not, but that's what I thought you meant. Yeah,
it is. It would have to be Peraza. It'd have to be 3 of our top 5 right now, probably. Or 3 of our top 6, I would say, and then some. Because Pablo Lopez is really good.
Yeah. Do you go Peraza, Sweeney, maybe?
I don't know if they would go for both. Luis.
Yeah, because I don't know if they would have that. Yeah.
Pereira? It might be. You know what it might be? It might be Pereira, Peraza, and Wells.
Yeah, maybe Wells, because I don't think you're giving up Dominguez or Volpe.
It might be Yordenis.
Okay.
They're not giving up Arias without knowing what he is, I don't think. Right. And then anything lower than Arias is too low.
Right.
For it to be the centerpiece. Like, you might be able to go Peraza, Gomez, Pariah, and then like Elijah Dern. or like Will Warren. Maybe get rid of Davy Garcia finally. Estevan Floria, like any of those low 20, like high 20s guys.
Yeah, throw them in there on top of that.
Throw one of them in there. One guy I wouldn't get rid of is Luis Serena, whatever.
Serna, I think. Luis Serna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 18 and has a cannon. Yeah. So, dude, if that breaks on here, I'm flipping this desk. Like, can you hear me? I'm really far away from my mic.
No, I can hear you.
All right, we're going to go like this. This is awkward. I'm hyped now. I was kind of losing hope on this deadline. It was just kind of breezed to an end here, but we got some heat coming. Maybe. Who knows? Is my computer going to die? Let's find out. 25%. All right. And I'm the host of this. So if I go, we all go.
You're taking us with us, right?
All right. Let me grab this. Ronnie, I hope you're loving this content, pal. I know you're watching still.
The Rockies are the only team to not make a trade today.
Because of course they are. Because of course they are. Imagine giving Chris Bryant a no trade clause and then not doing anything to build along with him. Why did they give him a full no trade clause? Why did he ask for a full no trade clause?
Just
I don't know.
Sweetener.
If I was on the Rockies, I'd want to not be on the Rockies.
Yeah,
I don't care how much they're paying me.
That's the
You know what I'm
problem.
saying?
Once you make the decision to join the Rockies, like you gotta have to be a special kind of person. So like maybe he doesn't care. He's like, I want to live here and that's it, and I'm not going nowhere until I decide I want to. Which I think he should decide like today, but probably not going to happen.
I mean, he's there for the same reason that Ohtani's still in Anaheim, and that's somebody needs to be there to sell jerseys and get people in the seats.
Yeah.
And so why he chose the Rockies, I don't know. I personally wouldn't have picked it. But
somebody has to play baseball there, so
yeah, somebody has to. This is an interesting question we can talk about a little bit just because it's hypothetical. Would you have given up a bigger package for Ohtani or for Soto?
Ohtani.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Is like obviously Ohtani's Ohtani, but he is an older player a little bit compared to Soto, obviously.
29.
You're gonna probably have to pay him even more per year than
and eventually he's not going to be a two-way guy. So like
eventually.
That's like what age does he stop doing one or the other? And which one does he stop doing?
I mean, I would assume he'd hold up as a hitter longer. But I don't know because his pitching has been better this year than he has been as a hitter. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. And even if like he gets to, what age would he start to really like steeply decline?
33?
Yeah, like maybe mid
33, 34. If you put him like DH and then give him whenever your bullpen's like depleted, you let him get some bullpen innings. You put him on the bench on a day your bullpen's going to be thin. Like how the Yankees don't pitch people more than back-to-back days and don't even like to do back-to-backs. Like if there's going to be a day where you got blown up the day before, you put Ohtani on the bench and then you let him throw 2 innings.
Right. Yeah, put him as like a back end of the bullpen guy just to have because you can throw gas when you need him to, but he's not full length starter anymore. It's just it's hard to say how you use him as.
I think I'd go Soto.
That's kind of where I'm leaning to because
he's 23.
I'm more confident that he's going to be a good player in 7-8 years, obviously, than Ohtani will be. So,
like, I could justify giving Soto a 11-year contract. I can't justify that for Ohtani.
No,
like, you know what I'm saying?
I think, with Soto, it's, even longer. 11 years. But the thing with like Soto is, A, obviously he's elite. B, he's going to be the centerpiece of your lineup for almost the entirety of those 15 years.
Yeah.
Shohei is, unquestionably incredible, right? And I think he might even hold up longer than you guys are giving him credit for. It is a health thing for him, I would say, especially with the pitching. He'll need to stay healthy. But yeah, long term, there's just less value to be had from an age perspective. And, you don't know what's going to break down first, whether he's going to be a pitcher or a hitter long term. And I think he could do both,
for a good while, at least.
A good while. But yeah, Gen Z Ted Williams is just like, it's such a massive window to win with.
Yeah, I think too, so like his approach is going to age so much better than Ohtani's will. And also, again,
we have a trade.
I expected the Tigers to do something at some point. But with him, I think his skill set's going to age better. Not only because he doesn't pitch also, but because just the fact that he is the OBP god at this point. Like that's not going anywhere. If his power starts to decline a little bit, if his just contact goes down a little bit, he's still going to be able to be an effective bat to some degree, I think, for longer.
Yeah, my only issue with Soto is he has 1 year in his career as a positive fielder, which eventually he's probably just going to be a DH. Like if he keeps being negative in the field, and he also has lost, like he's negative on runs on the base paths this year. And as he gets older, I can't see him getting better at running the bases when he's like 30. You know?
Yeah.
Well.
He'll
be jogging around the bases.
Yeah, I haven't watched.
Well, yeah, he probably will be better because he won't be pushing for like triples when he can stay at doubles.
Yeah, he might get smarter as a base runner, which I think that
or he just might not try.
Yeah, well, that's probably
be older
too. Yeah,
I think really over the next 5 years, I would take Ohtani. If just looking like 5 years into the future, I think I'd take Ohtani. After that, yeah, you kind of have to lean Soto.
Yeah,
but I would try to like get a shorter term deal with Ohtani, and then just try to move him as soon as he shows any signs of dropping off.
I'd give him like a 6-year deal, roughly.
Yeah.
Does he accept the 6-year deal?
I don't think so, but that's like if you can get him to accept that, that should clear out most of the rest of his actual like prime years, and then you can decide from there. Is he still putting up good numbers? You give him another couple year contract or whatever, but I do think he's probably gonna want at least like a 8-9 year deal. If I'm not, that's just what I think it'll be.
I just don't get those deals. Like Soto was asking for like 15. I just don't get doing a decade-long deal.
I don't either. I understand the worry of injury, but inflation's inflation, and the amount that players get paid is gonna go up.
Yeah.
I'd take 8. Like I would never take a 15-year deal. I don't care how good I am.
Yeah.
They're just trading security, right? Because even with Tatis taking that gigantic contract early on in his career, like it protects him from what happens if my body breaks down at 27. It protects you from if you
fall off a motorcycle,
right, 7 times. No, it makes sense from that perspective, especially with the type of money that they're getting, even with those longer deals. Because realistically, everybody wants to get paid as much as they can, but after a certain point, it's like, how much money do I want to get compared to what will make me live for however long I want it to be? Like it starts to matter less when you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars. So
that's fair.
Why any teams do it? Like why any teams offer like over 10 years? I can't believe it's even an option.
I like how the Mets fan is sitting here listening to a talk about offering players decade-long deals when he used to deal with, Bobby Day every year.
Bobby Day.
I'm completely fine with the deferred money for Bobby Bonilla that got us David Wright. But just like with the long-term deals in general, you're trading it for Francisco Lindor, like just for example, we paid $31 million or whatever, and like those last 3 years of his deal, when like you're paying up front essentially because you're paying for these next 5 years. If like you get 5 WAR per year for the next 5 years, at least, or like on average, you're still in a good spot. So if you don't give it to him, somebody else is going to give it to him.
Someone will be willing to.
And B, like Francisco Lindor is, a massive part of your World Series window. So, you're getting him there. You're expecting him to be very good for a very long time. And even if it's not the entirety of the contract, you feel pretty good about your investment.
The Phillies are close on Noah Syndergaard. I just found a signed Isaiah Gilman card on my floor. So that's a thing. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to give. I already said it. I'm faster than you, Ronald. I was gonna call him Reginald. But yeah, that's good news for the Yankees because Rendon and Lopez, like, we have 2 options now. If we do want to get another starter, which I could see us doing that because I don't know if Nestor's going to hold up with his innings pitch currently. And I also don't know if Tyone's going to hold up with his innings pitch currently. And I don't really want to go into the playoffs with Monty as my number 4.
Yeah, that wouldn't be ideal.
I think Monty's good. I think if anything,
I do too, but I don't want him. I don't know.
Because he's been like.
We don't hit behind Monty is the problem.
Very that's not a Monty problem.
No, I know, but it's just bad luck. He just gets screwed over all the time.
I mean, sure, but like he's been remarkably consistent, and then his ERA's blown up from like 3 starts where he got, he just didn't have his stuff. It didn't turn out well. Gave up a bunch of runs, and it happens. But I mean, other than that, like if you took like the standard deviation of his earned runs in a given outing, I would almost guarantee that it's one of the lowest in the league. And to do that while also suppressing runs at a pretty good rate, I'd feel comfortable if he's my 4th guy in a playoff rotation. And if you want to go after Rodon and have him, Cole, Sevy, Nestor, and Montes, however you want it to shake out.
Oh, I forgot about Montas.
Then fine. Like
sure, we have him now.
I don't think Monty keeps you from making those moves, obviously.
No.
But he's a good arm to have.
He's good enough, but I would like better.
Sure.
Well, we'd all love better, Luke, in general.
Yeah, well, it's the Yankees. We can have better if we want better.
Yeah. Good for you. Yeah.
We're not the Pirates or the Detroit Tigers.
Listen, I'm the only one here who can complain about the Pirates because I'm the only one who cares.
Listen, I care a lot about O'Neal Cruz.
Well, yeah, everybody does, but that's about it. Well, Brian Reynolds, but
I tweeted that he could literally be the best player in baseball.
Yeah, I'm hard pressed to disagree. He does some wild stuff as a rookie already, so we'll see how he progresses and how long it takes him to get traded somewhere.
I adore Roansy Contreras. I'm very happy that the Yankees traded him to the Pirates.
Yeah, that's
fair enough.
He's like the prototype for starting pitchers in this next few years of baseball with the flat fastball, high velocity up in the zone. Mm-hmm. The breakers low and away. It's a good formula. And I think there's legitimate top of the rotation potential there.
Don't get me too hopeful, guys.
Don't make him happy. That's mean. Yeah, the Phillies are finalizing a deal to acquire.
Luke looking like press conference Carrickle right now.
I'll take it. Carrickle's an all right looking man. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're welcome, but I know that it was the Astros that did it first. But like, you're welcome, by the way. That he's.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I can too. Yeah.
For me, he sells sticky stuff. No, I'm playing. Yeah,
Mitch.
the deal for those Syndergaard to the Phillies is finalized per Jeff Passan, and I think Michael White, right? That's who it is on the Dodgers, is going to Mitch White. Same, Michael Mitch. I don't pay attention to the Dodgers bullpen. He's going to the Blue Jays.
Okay.
So, who was the other guy they were shopping? The Dodgers in their bullpen. I thought his last name started with a C.
I can't remember at this point.
And everyone was like, "Why?" But they haven't traded him. We're almost at the deadline, are we not?
We got 7 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's get everything in here. Teams backing out on Pablo Lopez right now. That's all right. Why did I just get a news for you about Alex Bregman? I don't care about Alex Bregman.
Moniak and a second prospect to Angels.
What? Mariners are acquiring Bobby Dahlbeck and more from Boston.
So I guess
for who?
I don't know. Guess that's where Hosmer's going to get his playing time is with him out, not in the building.
Yeah, anymore. I guess.
Send Dom Smith to Boston to be the backup first baseman. They had interest in him for whatever reason. Dahlbeck being there shut that door once they got Hosmer, but it's open again if they want to make a move in the next 5 minutes. If they want to give us like Matt Strahm for like Dom Smith and a prospect.
That'd be awesome for you guys.
I'm down.
Whoa, Cards are acquiring Monty from the Yankees. Whoa. What? Yankees might be doing something here. Monty's going to the Yankees. To the Cards.
Okay.
Jordan Montgomery, no.
Yeah. Wow.
We have to do
What?
something now.
For what?
You would think so.
Yeah. Who's coming back?
Yeah, for who? And is it a prospect to then flip into Pablo Lopez? Dog, wow, that was
I'm not seeing
wild.
anything on this.
It just came up like
I
right
haven't
now.
who reported it?
Ken Rosenthal.
Ken Rose. Okay.
This is not for Harrison Bader.
Wow.
Harrison
Interesting.
Bader.
That's fun.
Okay.
Lopez is staying with the Marlins.
Is he?
Have fun with Bader.
Wow.
A lot of fun sometimes.
Now they get Judge back and right too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, not that he was a bad center fielder by any means, but more comfortable in right, and you get an 80 grade fielder in center.
And Aaron Hicks is done. All right. So now what did the Yankees do here in the last 5 minutes? 4 minutes.
Well, what's the rotation look like? It's Cole,
Montas,
Nestor,
Cortez, Sevy,
When he's healthy, yeah.
Yeah, Tyone.
and then Tyone. But Tyone with innings building up.
So who's their 6 and 7?
Herman and Schmidt, I guess. Which I'm okay with Clark Schmidt. I'm not okay with Domingo Herman.
Yeah.
I don't like people
we
who
kind of
beat
know
women.
that.
Neither of them are
There's that, but that
inspiring.
Mets get Givens from the Cubs.
Really?
given.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I don't hate that for the Mets.
But
No.
I'm cool with that. I mean, yeah, I would have preferred, a righty and a lefty. I don't know Givens' splits. I'll check that out in a sec.
3 minutes here. I'm just because
Givens is having a really good year.
Yeah,
So,
Yankees Pablo Lopez talks aren't resulting in a deal.
Okay. So the Cubs got.
They would get wait. Per whatever his name is it starts with an S. I'm bad with names, and it's an Italian name, so it's even worse. Yankees are going after Bader and a Monty plus more deal for Bader. They would then get Rendon if they trade him.
Plus more.
Yeah, you guys are getting a prospect.
Huh.
That actually works out because at this point, I mean, Hader's great defensively, but they need to free up space in the outfield for a lot of their younger guys.
And we need defense. Like, we need someone who isn't Aaron Hicks in the outfield. So I'm good with that. Wow, dude.
Because the Cardinals can't get enough pitching right now.
Yeah. Like, I'm sad to see Monty go. He's been here for a long time. Mr. Consistency.
That's what the Cardinals need, consistency.
Yeah. Oh, dude. All right, so we have to be doing something else. We have again, this isn't like every other deadline where it's like it stops here. There'll still be stuff that gets confirmed because of medicals and all that. But I'm sad to see Monty go, but I'm very okay with Bader.
Yeah, that's a good pickup for what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Is that confirmed?
It's Ken Rosenthal and Passan.
But is it but you said it's contingent on them getting.
I don't know. They didn't say it was contingent,
okay.
But someone else said on MLB Network that. Why does Josh hate this so much for the Cardinals? You're an idiot, Josh. Sorry, as my football co-host thinks this is a bad trade for the Cardinals. It's not a bad trade for the Cardinals at all.
I don't mind that at all.
He's probably looking at ERA.
Yeah, and it's still his ERA is still below what the Cardinals are averaging right now.
Yeah. Where is Monty going to be in your rotation?
I mean, assuming probably somewhere 3 or 4 right now.
He's a 3 guy, so
because him and Quintana will probably be right there behind Wainwright and Michaelis.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Assume it's gonna be that.
Which isn't a bad. It's not a terrible rotation. It's not. There's not really a true ace. I mean, Wainwright being the ace of that rotation at this point's sad, but
yeah. Can't wait for Monty to throw a no-hitter against the Yankees in Game 4 of the World Series. It's gonna be great. But realistically, good for Monty. He's gonna get to not be, I guess a 5 guy if Nestor stays a starting pitcher. So good for Monty. Hopefully we can get Rendon here because Lopez, every Marlins guy is saying he's staying, and so is like the big guys. So I guess it's down to Rendon, and if we want to pull the trigger,
yeah.
On the IL with plantar fascia
lineup.
Rose traded Merrifield.
Whoa! That's like what?
That's what Ronnie
I mean, I guess not why, because they do have a lot of guys who probably need to come up soon.
Yeah. The Royals were surprisingly quiet at the deadline. I thought they were going to sell more.
He's shut down for Bader shut down for several weeks.
Really?
I don't think he's been playing.
He's wearing a walking boot, but the Cardinals had said they expect him to return before the end of the season.
Let's see.
So he'd just be a playoff edition, basically. Then.
Yeah.
Which that's obviously not ideal because you want to see him play a little bit, but maybe if he can play a little bit before the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean he's a guy like as long as he's healthy, you pretty much know what you're getting with him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Not much from the bat, but he's obviously great defensively. You hope his bat can turn around a little bit because I know it's been rough this year. But
yeah, he seems to get on.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting.
Where's Witt going?
Yeah, I didn't see anything more about that.
I mean, team's still unknown.
Who wants him?
Yeah, facts. My gosh, to the Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays?
What?
Okay.
How? Why? Just.
I mean, I guess.
Cool. Domingo Germán is bad. We need someone else. Oh.
So he wouldn't start.
Yeah, he definitely will be getting vaccinated.
Yeah, that's gonna. Because I know Benintendi had to kind of agree to the same thing, right?
Nah, he said that he's open to getting it, but it has not been confirmed.
Okay.
So I guess Wood'll be a utility guy or possibly start at second base for Toronto.
Yeah.
But that outfield's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the bat's not there. He's been good defensively. He still has a positive WAR despite an 80 weighted runs created plus. But yeah, I mean that's interesting.
Dude, I'm overly confident that the Yankees had to have gotten something else done. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's no way they were bye Monty. Here's a guy who's not going to play till September. There's just no way. There's just no shot we made the MLB team worse for a guy who's not going to play till September.
I mean,
when we're trying to make a run here. When we're trying to get the 1 seed here. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I haven't seen anything else come out. So.
But just Harrison Bader and not doing anything else and get you know what I'm saying? After this Monty trade, not getting another starting pitcher after that does not help you compete with the Astros.
No.
At all. Harrison Bader's Harrison Bader, but Harrison Bader for only September, October, and November is going to be so useless.
Yeah, coming out of a walking boot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially when he's a
Speed is his
defensive
best
player.
thing.
Yeah, defensive player. Jeez, I don't know, but I got to run, guys. It's been fun for sure. So
Hey, Shane, have a good one, man.
absolutely.
We're gonna be shutting this down soon, but have a good one, buddy.
Later.
Dude, I'm so confused.
I'm just like, there has to be another domino to
There
fall, but it's
has to be more.
6:05, so I'm still, it's not guaranteed anymore.
Yeah. I don't think they would have done that unless they knew they could get that done. Like they could get Rendon done.
Oh, that's true. Givens did pitch for Showalter in Baltimore.
Oh, I didn't even think about
So
that.
there is some familiarity there. Yeah, thankfully he's not, garbage against lefties, which is good because they do need someone to get lefties out. I don't know if he's going to be necessarily that guy. Obviously, he's a right-hander. I'm not entirely sure where he fits in the pecking order. But
Rendon's staying with the Giants. God.
Weird.
And the Cubs are keeping Contreras and Hat. All right. So what are we calling up? Schmidt or Heel?
I don't know.
I believe in Louis Heel, but like not right now, dog.
It is weird to make your major league team worse in the present like they did. I mean, I guess having like a 16-game lead helps. But I'm not sure. Like it's curious.
It's weird. Like that's a weird trade.
Here's what I'm thinking. Was the thought that now they got Montes, were they just like, if we don't really have enough starts to make keeping Montgomery worth it? Was that it? Now they already added pitching? Because he was 5th before the Montes trade, right? In the rotation?
Yeah, but that's assuming Nestor stays a starting pitcher and he doesn't break down a little bit with most innings he's ever going to have to pitch.
Bader does have a year of control too, which helps. So he should slot in next year. Starting center, absolute worst case scenario.
I mean, he's going to play this year.
Yeah.
Is he going to make a difference? Does anyone know if Andrew Bragley's like he's with the Athletic? All right, he's reputable.
Was Hap expiring? Or
yeah,
he was.
I think so. Ooh, not going to be any buzzer beaters. Also staying. Yeah, so Patton just tweeted no buzzer beaters for Rendon, Jock, Perez, Moore, Contreras, or Hap.
I think
I look like I'm at a frat party right now.
The Mets bullpen is not in its finished state. I think like maybe they're banking on McGill, like I said earlier, because like he could be like a high strikeout guy. That like if you're confident enough, can be a 7th, 8th inning guy, or he could give you length because obviously he's starting earlier. But man, I don't know. I'm curious to see where Givens, like, is it behind Ottavino? Is it behind Lugo? Like when Drew Smith comes back, if Drew Smith comes back, where does he slot in? That's what I'm curious to see.
I feel like there's nothing else. Passon also, I think, was it Passon? I don't think it was Passon. It was somebody. Somebody important just said that Lopez is staying confirmed. Mark Feinstein, yeah. So the Yankees, I guess Clark Schmidt's coming up and going to be in the rotation, and I love Clark Schmidt, so I'm glad he's finally going to get a chance. But man, did that take a turn really fast. The Braves are acquiring Iglesias from the Angels for Jesse Chavez, Tucker Davidson.
Can you repeat that?
The Braves are acquiring Iglesias from the Angels for Jesse Chavez and Tucker Davidson. So closer.
That I don't like that. Knowing that the Mets only got Givens and that the bullpen's thin. I like where they're at as a team.
You're not in a bad spot, but that hurts when you guys got Givens.
They could have done more. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Maybe Alex Cobb's the move for the Yankees.
Well, he said there was no buzzer beaters.
For the players I listed, I can list them again if you want.
Yeah, no. I was just so Cobb's not getting dealt then.
No, he wasn't on the list.
Oh, so just no buzzer beaters for those guys?
For Contreras, Happ, Rendon, Peterson, Martinez, or not Martinez, Martin Perez, or Matt Moore.
That package is light too for Iglesias.
Really light.
The
Mets could have done something like that.
They could have. The thing is, Iglesias is stepping into the closer role. Presumably. So okay, maybe he wouldn't want to be in an eighth inning role.
But he doesn't.
Or maybe you don't want to be like, oh, Diaz, if you mess up, now Iglesias is going to come in. So maybe that's a reason for why the Mets didn't do it.
Yeah, the mental.
But if it was straight oh, we don't want to meet this package, then that's just just really bad.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for Tucker because he loved being a Brave, you could tell. But yeah, if it's just a can't be that package thing, don't like that. But if it for the Mets, but if they're playing the mental game with Diaz and they really think it could hurt him, then I would just stand pat without Iglesias. If you really think it's going to screw over Diaz.
I mean, it could have just been hey, Iglesias doesn't want to get traded to a team that, isn't going to let him get saves in the postseason. I don't know what it came down to. I was just, listing possibilities. But the Braves, improved their team, I think, more than the Mets did, which I don't love. And it's funny because I projected the Braves to be a better team at the beginning of the year, and then obviously you jump after that 11-game lead, and so now if the Braves were to win the division, it would feel like a bad failure.
Yeah.
Where it kind of just depends at the chunk that you start, watching it from. But yeah, they play 5 games against Atlanta this week. They better win at least 3 of them.
Yeah. Weird, dude.
All right, I gotta hop off here. I gotta eat something before I have to record another podcast here tonight. So,
ooh, you not gonna plug?
We're just starting it. We're actually just recording our first one.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
With, one of my old roommates from college.
Nice.
Yeah, so keep an eye out. We're calling it the Drew and Dalton Show for now. So we'll see.
Keep it sweet and simple.
Keep an eye out.
Of course, man. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man.
See you guys.
Right. Have a good one. All right, down to the Jersey boys. I don't think we're getting anything else, unless it's Cobb, but I really don't believe that either.
Yeah, I'm not sure we do either. Who do you think outside of San Diego, obviously, getting Soto, who do you think outside of San Diego helped their playoff chances and or World Series chances the most?
That's difficult because, normally there'd be more than just this one. Like the Mariners got themselves into the playoffs, in my mind. Like they probably get themselves into the playoffs above like the Rays or something. I don't know. I don't know what the standings look like right this second. Tyler, nobody cares about your sub, dude. Shut up. Publix isn't even good. Wawa on top. All right, moving on. So I guess the M's do all right, but then they acquired two guys who haven't played all year, in Lamb and Rosenthal. So, like, I want to say they won their deadline, but I don't know if they did because I don't know about those other guys. And then like the Yankees getting Benny, Efros, and Montas is really good, but then you do that Monty thing at the end here, and if there's no payoff for that, what?
Yeah, it's confusing.
So I don't really know. I think the Braves did really good, even though they only made like 2 moves.
Yeah, no, I mean, I did like what they did. I like Odorizzi. Obviously, Lace is really good, and they've had some issues in the bullpen. It's just, man, like it's gonna work out for the Yankees. This Bader trade, I don't know how. Like maybe it like ends with them calling up some like random guy, and in the Brian Cashman fashion, he'll turn into a star, and it'll piss me off to no end.
I don't even know who that would be, who we could call up right now that would be good. The only thing I can think of is Clark Schmidt has one option left, and he's starting tomorrow or started yesterday in AAA. So he's back to starting instead of the bullpen.
Do you think that means Sevy's shoulder is worse than potentially?
I don't think they would. I don't think they would trade Monty if Sevy was done for the year.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I mean, I don't view Schmidt as like, I think his ceiling is probably like a 4th starter.
Yeah, but that's what you really got rid of with Monty.
I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird.
It's hard to explain right now, but in like a week it'll be easier to see when we know who's going to be taking Monty's spot.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I really don't know.
I don't know. I really do like the Scott Efros trade. Like I keep coming back to it as a move that like I said before, like buying relievers isn't great business, but it checks a lot of boxes, and there's a lot of factors from the Yankee side that makes it even better.
And it was one player traded away. Yeah. That's the thing for me. Like it's a 1-for-1 for a guy with 5 years of control.
Mm-hmm.
And if he pitches really well for 2 here, he's 30. You can trade him away with 3 years of control.
Yeah. Even if like if he pitches well down the stretch run and into the playoffs, like does it really matter if he even makes it through next season or the season after that? Like if you end up for some reason DFAing him,
who cares?
Whatever. Yeah.
If we win this year, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. I really don't know who the winner is of this trade deadline. Like we'll see. I guess it has to be the Padres, like overall, just because they got Juan Soto.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if they don't win this year, in 3 years, what's gonna happen with that team? Because you have to choose between trading Machado away, but you're not going to get much for a rental Machado at what, 32, 33?
I don't even think he would be a rental at that point. I think he's in there for the long haul.
Is he? I thought he.
Like, they gave him
signed
a bag and a half. I'm waiting for it to load. I think he's a free agent in like 2029, which would lead me to believe that
snap.
They're
I
not.
thought it was 2025.
Yeah, free agent 2029. I don't know if he has like an out.
He might have been out in 28. I don't think he has an out anywhere before that.
Like if you have Tatis, Soto, Machado, your floor is relatively high anyway. It'll just be a matter of continuing.
And they just signed
develop
Musgrove for
guys.
the long haul, didn't they?
I did like that, yeah. And it was like below market value. It was just like 5 years,
Yeah.
$100 million. That's, barely more than the qualifying offer, just like, in terms of average annual value. I like that. And yeah, like these pitchers are going to get a little older with Snell and Darvish. But I think there's a path for San Diego to keep maneuvering and keep themselves viable. And it'll probably be them and the Dodgers. And, nobody's expecting the Giants to win 107 games last year. So, like, the West will continue to be interesting as long as San Francisco doesn't tear it down. But
which doesn't feel like they want to.
No, I don't think they do either. They have a lot of money coming off the books in the next few years. Like next year, I think if they're bad, they'd have a real fire sale of sorts. But I don't know. It's another one of those teams where I'm really confident in their player development. So I think they're still on the right track. Like if they just handle business as they should, I think they'll end up being okay. Not necessarily, better than the two teams ahead of them, but we said it earlier. Once you get in, you're,
anything,
whatever happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still kind of shocked at the Yankees. Like a Rodon deal must have fell flat. Or they thought they had.
How does that? I don't know if that happens. Like, I would be shocked if you officially pull the trigger on a deal. Because, the Cardinals were in a spot where it's like, you need to give us Montgomery right now, or else, we're pulling Bader off the table. Like, I don't think they necessarily had the leverage to do that.
No.
Where it's like, I don't know how you would make one trade without making the other and having one fall through, where
unless it was Lopez, I don't think I don't think a Rodon deal could have fallen through. I think a Lopez deal could have fallen through. I don't think a Rodon deal could have fallen through. You know what I'm saying?
I think he was gettable, for the right price. It was just, I guess they didn't want him,
that badly. Yeah, I mean, thanks everybody for watching. I don't think anything's going to trickle in here. The Mets are officially done. No buzzer beaters for them. The Yankees began today leading the majors in defensive runs saved. The biggest negative was center field, and Bader won a Gold Glove last year. Another theory is that Monty and the Yankees had a legit issue on the inside, and they just had to deal him, and it was like a money thing.
That's interesting. It's possible.
And I know Sevy's pissed off at the Yankees right now too, because they put him on the 60-day.
Yeah.
Man. All right. Well, I think I fully believe that the Marlins backed out of a trade.
It's annoying to even see them. Like, they should just be building around their stable of young starting pitchers. Like, you have Sandy, you have Pablo. Meyer obviously needs Tommy John, but
he's gonna be so good.
Yeah, there's a good core of guys there. They have Perez. They have a couple guys in the minors still too. Obviously now they have even less of a bullpen than they did a couple days ago. And the lineup isn't very good, but just build around that rotation. When you're allowing 2.5 runs a game from your starting pitchers, good things happen. Yeah. So it's frustrating, but I mean,
and they're also having problems with Khalil Watson. He was suspended for 2 weeks away from the team.
And I didn't love the draft this year.
I liked Barry. I didn't really like anything after that, but it was all pitchers.
Mm-hmm. Hey, if you're going to develop them, if you know you can't develop hitters, you might as well develop pitchers and then ship them off.
and Barry's already going to be in low A ball. Like he's starting low A today. That's the same as Zach Neto for the Angels. I tweeted about that a couple weeks ago. But yeah, there's really nothing like it had. I think it had to have been a Lopez a deal backed out, and we'll find out probably in 2 months, like something ridiculous. It'll be like the wild card day. We'll lose a game because of our fourth pitcher, and it'll be like this could have been Pablo Lopez. He backed out, and it'll come out from like Mark Feinstein or something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, thank you for joining me. I hope everybody enjoyed this, and we'll see you next year for the next trade deadline. Peace.